Okay, I found a longer screw with the same threads and the same size head. Okay, and it's longer, and I'm going to try that first. I'm going to use my battery operated drill, and I'm going to keep it on low. When I get it almost tight, then I can do the rest by hand. Get it almost all the way. Look at that. Good. All right. That worked. Okay. Now, for this, see those screws, that screw is the same length as the other. And it's amazing that length of a screw is going to hold that whole door up. And usually even on solid core doors they do the same thing. But they can't put a screw in too long into the door jamb, because the door jamb is only 3/4 of an inch long. And then you put it up against, when they install doors, they put it up against maybe a stud, the side stud before shims or whatever. You want these screws. If they put 1-inch long screws in here before they installed the door, then it could hit on the back side. So that's why they use these little small ones, and then every once in a while they strip out. So I'm going to try to get a longer screw and just see if I can go in a little bit further. And if not, see, then the other thing you could do is you could get a screw like this and get a real long one, pre-drill it, and then run it through there into the 2x4. Or you could get one a little bit bigger than this with bigger threads and just go into the door jamb. Okay, so I'll have to find something. And I used to have some screws that almost looked the same color, that were drywall screws, and they were coarse threads, and they were about 2 inches long, and they had a silver head top on it, so when you put it in, it matched everything. But I went to the store, went to Home Depot and Lowe's, and they don't have those anymore. They have the screw, but the screw head is kind of like a gray finish. So if I were to put that in there, then gray finish, you're going to actually see that it doesn't match exactly. But you could do something like that. It's not that big of a deal. And if you had bronze hinges, usually they have bronze screws, and then you can use sheetrock screws sometimes, the black ones, and they match right up. All right, enough of that. Let me see if I can find something to fix that hinge. Longer screws. Okay, so I got just longer screws, the same head and stuff. I'm going to try that. I'm going to just put them in. Let's see. Once you use a drill long enough, you'll get a feel for what's going on. And see, they're still spinning, aren't they? Well, that's not going to work. So I'm going to try something else. I'm going to get the next size screw head. The next size screw. These are, I think, number 8s. And then they could even be 6s. And I'm going to get a number 10. And that just means that the head is a little bit bigger than this one. Let's try that next. Let's see, this one here is a number 10. It's got a bigger head on it than the other one, and it's got a little bit wider threads. Okay, and what I'm hoping is that if I just go up one, the head's not necessarily going to fit flush, but it's going to be close. If you get it too big, the head's going to stick out too far. Then when you close the door, this hinge face could hit. Plus, you don't want to be seeing screw head sticking out of your hinges with the door open. So I think that's going to work. Oh man, you know what? That's still spinning too. Good grief. So this was 1 inch. I can use a little bit longer one, but see, I don't have really super long ones of these, and I may end up having to get my other screws, my drywall screws, and using a long one and sucking it in there, even though the head's slightly different. Or I'd have to go back to the store and I'd have to get these same ones, but about 2 inches long, and I could do that and actually suck it in. In fact, I could do that with the ones that were there. You know, they were 3/4 of an inch. I'd have to get one like this instead of 1.25 inches long, probably 2 inches long, and then I could put it in there and run it all the way through. Then I would know that would fix it. Okay, but for the time being, it's tight enough to check to see if this door gap is going to be fine now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close this door. See, that's fine. Get you up there and zoom it in so that you can see that gap is fine now. See there? And this whole door is working good now, other than the fact that when I close the door, see, there's a little bit of slop in there. So more than likely, I'm going to take these strike plates off before the painters come in here to paint. But I just wanted you to see that on the inside there, see on the strike plate, there's a nib, there's a tab there, and then there's a little slot there. And I can take my screwdriver, let's see if I take a standard screwdriver, I put it right there in that slot, and then I just take that and bend it out just a little bit. See, about like that. You see how it's kind of coming out at an angle now. You can kind of see I did that. See right in there? Okay, I tweaked it just a little bit. I'm holding the camera now. I've got it off, took it off the tripod. See, it's still a little bit. And so I'm going to take that and bend it just a little bit more. Like that. All right, just stepped on that. I think it's fine. See? That's fine. So everything is good on this door. I can mark this door off and just perfect because my battery's low and I've got to replace it. But I need to make a note for myself that I got to come back to there and then I've got to get some longer screws. And see, even the screw that I put in, see how that screw's slightly a different color than the other ones. I mean, some things you're just not going to get perfect. That's a silver screw. These were old silver screws, but it's a different color because it came from the factory with that color instead of the other ones you can get at the store. So, you know, now I can go ahead and put that one back in, but I'll make a note for myself that I got to get 3 more screws. This one, I can take that out as a sample. I can take it to the store and I can get it longer. See, I want it 3/4. I don't want it 1 inch or 1.5 inches because first off, the door jamb is 3/4 of an inch thick from here over, and then there could be a gap of shim material 3/8 to 1/2 inch before you actually hit the 2x4. So if I get 1.5 inches or 1 3/4, I may barely be hitting the wood. Plus I want to drive it into the wood. So if I get it into the wood only 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 inch, I could still strip it. The threads might still turn because maybe it's not grabbing enough. So make a note to myself that I get like 2-inch screws for that. And if I have a question, if they have 1 3/4 at the store, I can get 1 3/4 and 2-inch. And just get a few, and you can get them in a little plastic little container like that. You know that this one has 6 pieces in it. See, 6 pieces, and that's all I need. So I can get a couple of those. I don't have to buy a whole huge container like this. In fact, that wouldn't have worked because the right size screws aren't even in there, okay? All right, I think that's it for this door. If you want to learn more, this is all I'm going to put on this particular video, but if you want to learn more, I'm going to make other videos of all the other doors, because every time I work on a door, it's slightly different. It could be different than the last door. You never know what I'm going to say next. So stick around if you want to watch more. Well, that's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos.